wanted to ask you about your kids.
Okay.
Want to start.
Rick Harrison is a well-known name to many people, especially those who watch the popular TV show Pawn Stars. For years, he has been seen as a successful businessman who runs a pawn shop in Las Vegas. His personality on the show is calm, approachable, and knowledgeable. People see him as someone who has worked hard to build a successful career, and many admire his ability to handle tough situations with ease. However, the public image of Rick Harrison is about to change, and it all comes down to something much more personal than what fans are used to seeing on TV. This change is not about his business dealings or his career, but something that involves his personal life in a way no one expected. It's a situation that will likely shock many who know him, and leave others wondering how this all happened. The legal trouble Rick faces is serious, and the fact that his own adopted daughter is involved makes it even more complicated. The idea that someone close to him, especially a family member, could turn against him in such a public way adds a layer of tension that no one could have anticipated. Rick has always been seen as a family man on TV, and the idea that his adopted daughter would be part of a legal case against him brings a deep sense of curiosity and shock to everyone following this story. It's natural for viewers to wonder what could have gone wrong in their relationship to the point where his daughter would testify against him in court. The situation raises many questions. Why is his adopted daughter testifying against him? What has led to this moment of legal conflict? Is there a deeper issue within their family that has never been revealed to the public before? Rick's fans and the general public are now curious about the details of his personal life. They want to know more about what led to this moment. Is there a secret that's been kept hidden for years, or is it a new problem that has suddenly come to light? The curiosity surrounding the situation is growing, and people want to know what will happen next. For someone like Rick, who has spent years building a career and a public image based on trust and knowledge, this legal issue threatens everything he has worked for. It's not just a minor disagreement or a family issue that can be settled quietly behind closed doors. This is something that could become very public very quickly. It's not just about him anymore, it's about the way people see him. The way his fans, friends, and even strangers view him could change completely based on what happens in court. It's a dangerous situation for someone whose entire career has been built on his reputation. What will this legal trouble mean for Rick's future? Could it affect his career, his business, and his relationships? The fact that Rick's adopted daughter is the one testifying against him makes this even more complicated. Families are often seen as the foundation of a person's life. They are supposed to be the ones who offer support, love, and understanding, but now this very foundation is being questioned. The involvement of an adopted child in such a public way suggests there is much more to this story than what is being shared. It is natural for people to wonder why she would make such a decision. What could have happened to cause her to testify against someone she has known her entire life? The public will likely want to know about her motivations, her reasons for coming forward, and the details of her testimony. What has she seen or experienced that made her take this step? As Rick faces this legal battle, the curiosity surrounding his personal life will continue to grow. People will want to know more about the family dynamics between Rick and his adopted daughter. What is their relationship like behind the scenes? What has been happening in their lives that led up to this courtroom moment? The curiosity will be fueled by the fact that, up until now, Rick's personal life has been a bit of a mystery. Fans know him from the show, but there has never been much focus on his private family matters. Now that secrecy is being broken open, and people are desperate for more details. In addition to the questions about his family life, people will also be wondering about the legal side of things. What are the charges or accusations involved? How serious are they? What could be the consequences for Rick if the case doesn't go in his favor? Legal trouble, especially when it involves someone in the public eye, is always a complicated issue. There are many things at stake: his reputation, his career, his finances, and even his personal relationships. As more details come to light, it will be interesting to see how the case unfolds, and how Rick responds to the situation. Will he fight the allegations, or will he try to settle things quietly? The uncertainty surrounding the case only adds to the growing curiosity. It's important to note that, while the situation may be shocking, it's also a reminder that no one's life is perfect. Even people who seem to have everything together can face personal struggles that the public doesn't see. Rick Harrison's legal trouble highlights how complex family relationships can be, and how sometimes, even the most carefully built public image can be challenged by real-life issues. For fans of Pawn Stars and Rick Harrison, this situation may serve as a reminder that no matter how successful someone appears to be, they are still human, and like everyone else, they are capable of facing difficulties and challenges in their personal lives. The story of Rick Harrison and his legal trouble is one that will likely keep people talking for a long time. It's a situation filled with suspense, curiosity, and a deep sense of uncertainty about what the future holds. As the case continues to develop, more questions will arise, and people will eagerly await the next piece of the puzzle. What happens next is anyone's guess, but one thing is certain: this legal trouble is far from over, and it will change the way people think about Rick Harrison, both as a person and as a public figure. When we think of family, we often imagine a close-knit group where members are there to support one another. The idea of family typically brings up feelings of trust, loyalty, and love. People expect that when you adopt a child, you're giving them a new chance at life, a fresh start, and a place where they can feel loved and cared for. It's supposed to be a bond that lasts a lifetime. However, when the adopted daughter of a well-known figure like Rick Harrison steps forward to testify against him in court, it challenges the very concept of family that many people hold dear. The fact that someone who was once part of Rick's inner circle, someone he may have seen as his own flesh and blood, is now in a position where they're going against him, creates an unexpected and intense level of curiosity. Rick Harrison's adopted daughter isn't just any family member. She's someone who has been part of his life for a long time, and her decision to testify against him in a public setting raises a lot of important questions. Why would she take such a dramatic step? What happened in their relationship that made this necessary? Family disputes, no matter how private, are often messy and complicated. But when they become public, they tend to spark even more interest. People begin to wonder if there were underlying issues that no one knew about before. What could have happened in the Harrison household to bring Rick's adopted daughter to the point where she felt the need to speak out against him in such a formal legal way? Her actions suggest that there is more to the story than what has been shared so far. The curiosity around the adopted daughter's role in the situation is huge. It's natural to wonder about her background and what her life has been like growing up in the Harrison household. Was she treated differently than Rick's biological children? Did she experience challenges or conflicts that others might not have seen? How has her relationship with Rick evolved over the years? The fact that she's now testifying against him suggests there were significant issues that have been kept hidden from the public eye. People want to know what led to this point, and the answers aren't easy to come by. There is no clear explanation yet, and the lack of information only fuels more speculation. Was there a moment when their relationship started to sour? Was it something that built up over time, or did it happen suddenly? These are the kinds of questions that will be on everyone's mind as the legal case continues to unfold. Rick Harrison's image as a family man has been a big part of his public persona. His role on Pawn Stars often shows him as a fatherly figure who knows how to handle difficult situations, not just with his business, but also in his personal life. Viewers have seen Rick as someone who values family and who works hard to build a good life for those around him. This image has earned him a lot of respect and admiration from fans, but now, with his adopted daughter taking legal action against him, that image is being called into question. This legal battle challenges everything people thought they knew about Rick and his family. For those who have followed his life and career, it must be shocking to see someone so close to him go public with accusations. The questions surrounding their relationship add a layer of mystery to the story. What could have happened behind the scenes to cause such a dramatic shift in their dynamic? The idea that an adopted child would turn against the person who took them in is not something people expect. Adoption is often seen as a second chance, a way to create a loving and supportive environment. So when an adopted child testifies against their adoptive parent, it shakes the foundations of what adoption represents. People wonder if Rick's adopted daughter felt betrayed or neglected in some way. Was there a breakdown in their relationship that led to this point? Or has something happened more recently that caused her to speak out? The curiosity around her motives grows because people are eager to understand what could have led to such a significant decision. It's not a simple thing to accuse someone, especially a parent figure, of wrongdoing. For her to testify against Rick means that she must have felt strongly about whatever she's accusing him of. But what exactly is she accusing him of? That's a question that many are eager to have answered. As the case progresses, the tension around Rick's adopted daughter's testimony will only grow. The curiosity about her life, her relationship with Rick, and her motivations will continue to build. People are invested in understanding the full story behind this legal battle. They want to know what her experience was like in the Harrison household, and what led her to this moment of taking legal action. The public wants to know if this is just a personal family dispute or if there are deeper issues at play. What has Rick's adopted daughter been through? What has shaped her decision to take such a serious step? The more time passes, the more people will wonder about the details. Was there a moment that changed everything? Or is this a long-standing issue that finally came to light? It's not just Rick's adopted daughter who is at the center of this story. The implications of her testimony could affect not just Rick's personal life, but his professional life as well. As a public figure, Rick's every move is watched closely. If his adopted daughter's testimony has enough weight to make headlines, it will have an impact on his reputation. People will start to question his character. Could this legal battle damage his business? Will fans still see him as the trustworthy figure they once admired? The curiosity around Rick's public and private lives is at an all-time high. People want to know what this case means for the future of the Pawn Stars franchise and for Rick's career as a whole. His adopted daughter's actions could change the way the public sees him forever. If she has evidence or compelling reasons behind her testimony, the damage to Rick's reputation could be far-reaching. For now, the only thing people know for certain is that Rick Harrison's adopted daughter has chosen to testify against him in a court of law. The details of why, how, and what led to this moment are still unknown, leaving people on the edge of their seats. As more information comes to light, the answers to these questions will shape the story. But for now, the uncertainty and curiosity surrounding Rick's adopted daughter and her decision to speak out will continue to draw people in. When someone takes the stand in court to testify, it means they are sharing important information that could change the outcome of a case. For Rick Harrison, the moment his adopted daughter stepped up to testify against him in court was not just a regular family dispute. This was something much bigger, something that would attract the attention of not just those involved but also the public. The word testify brings a lot of weight with it. It's not just a casual conversation, it's a formal declaration in front of the law. And when someone as close to Rick as his adopted daughter takes such a step, it raises a lot of questions. Why would she decide to take this serious action against him? What is the testimony that she is sharing? People are naturally curious about what kind of evidence or reasons she could have to bring a case against him, and that curiosity only deepens as more details about the situation begin to surface. The act of testifying is serious and can have long-lasting effects on both the person giving the testimony and the person on the receiving end of it. For Rick, this testimony is a moment where everything in his life, his reputation, his business, his public image is on the line. The stakes could not be higher. It's not just about defending himself in a legal case, it's about defending his entire life's work. Rick has spent years building a career that has made him a household name. His persona on Pawn Stars has been built around his ability to stay calm and collected, to handle difficult situations with grace. But now his adopted daughter is putting his entire character into question. The people watching from the outside are eager to understand what this testimony means for Rick and what it reveals about the family dynamics that have until now been kept private. As his adopted daughter begins to testify, the curiosity around her words is intense. What exactly is she saying about Rick? Is she accusing him of something specific, or is she revealing information that could hurt his case in unexpected ways? There are many things that people want to know. Is she claiming that Rick did something wrong, or is she simply revealing secrets that have never been told before? Her testimony could shine a light on hidden truths that no one outside the family knew about. It could also create a ripple effect that causes others to speak out. People are eager to know if her words will be enough to prove her case and to show that Rick is guilty of whatever she is accusing him of. The suspense is high because the outcome of her testimony could drastically change the course of the legal proceedings and possibly change the way the public sees Rick forever. The act of testifying brings with it a sense of vulnerability. For Rick's adopted daughter, this is likely not an easy thing to do. Standing up in front of a judge, attorneys, and even strangers, and speaking about something so personal takes courage. Her testimony could be filled with deep emotions, frustrations, and painful truths that have been hidden for years. The reason she is testifying may not be something that she has easily come to terms with, and the fact that she is speaking against someone she once called a father figure is a sign that whatever is being discussed is significant. People are curious about what has driven her to this point. What has happened in her life that she feels compelled to take such a drastic step? There must be something that has caused a rift so large that she can no longer stay silent. The questions surrounding her testimony will only increase as more pieces of the puzzle begin to come together. The legal process is often slow and filled with delays, but when someone as public as Rick Harrison is involved, things tend to move faster. The curiosity surrounding the case is growing because people want to know the details as quickly as possible. What will the adopted daughter say next? Will her testimony be enough to change the outcome of the case? What kind of evidence will she bring forward? These are the questions that everyone wants answers to. But as the case moves forward, the true nature of the accusations against Rick may not be fully revealed immediately. This keeps people on edge, waiting for more details. Every new piece of information could shift the balance of the case, and that uncertainty adds to the curiosity of what will come next. For Rick, the fact that his adopted daughter is testifying against him is a huge blow. It's one thing to have a legal battle, but it's another to have someone from your own family involved. The emotional impact of this testimony cannot be understated. Families are supposed to be there to support each other, to have each other's backs. But now Rick finds himself in the position of having to defend himself against someone he likely once trusted deeply. The emotional turmoil of dealing with a family member testifying against you can be overwhelming. It adds a layer of personal pain to the already difficult legal situation. How does Rick feel knowing that his adopted daughter is taking the stand and speaking against him? How much of what she says will affect not just the case but his heart as well? These are questions that fans and the public alike will be wondering as they watch the case unfold. The curiosity surrounding Rick's adopted daughter's testimony is also fueled by the public's fascination with family dynamics. People are always interested in how families work, especially when things go wrong. The drama that comes from family disputes often attracts the most attention. When a family member steps forward to testify against another, it feels like a betrayal. And that betrayal makes the story even more intriguing. Why would someone betray their own family member? What could cause a person to make such a difficult choice? These are the questions that keep people glued to the story. And while there may be answers eventually, the process of discovering those answers will keep people coming back for more. As each day passes and new details about the case are revealed, the anticipation of what will happen next continues to grow. In the end, the act of testifying is one that holds great weight. It's a moment that can change the course of a case, and the course of someone's life. For Rick Harrison, the testimony of his adopted daughter is something that has the potential to not only impact his legal future but also the way people view him and his family. The questions surrounding her testimony are powerful. What will she say? What is she accusing him of? How will it affect Rick and his career? These are all questions that people are eagerly waiting to have answered. As the case goes on, the curiosity surrounding the testimony will only increase, and people will continue to wonder what truths will come to light and how it will all end. When someone is facing legal trouble, especially when it involves a family member, it becomes a matter of not just law but also emotions, trust, and betrayal. Rick Harrison, known for his role on Pawn Stars and his well-established public persona, is now confronted with the unthinkable. His adopted daughter has chosen to testify against him. This step is not one taken lightly, especially considering the emotional weight it carries. It isn't just about a legal case anymore. It is a fight for Rick's reputation, his legacy, and the way he is seen by the public. The idea that someone so close to him, someone he may have considered part of his own family, is taking the stand against him, adds a layer of shock and curiosity. Why is his adopted daughter doing this? What has led her to go against him in such a public and legal manner? These questions are what people want to know, and the answers aren't coming easily. The concept of someone testifying against you is heavy. It means that they are not just telling their version of events, they are giving evidence or accusations that could affect the outcome of a case. It could potentially change everything for the person being accused. In this case, Rick Harrison is the one facing the consequences. People who have followed his career, watched him on TV, and respected him for his knowledge and calm demeanor are now being forced to question whether their perceptions of him were wrong. Was there something dark lurking behind the scenes that they never knew about? What could Rick have done to cause his adopted daughter to take this drastic step? These are the questions that linger, and as the legal proceedings unfold, the curiosity about what happened between Rick and his adopted daughter will only intensify. Rick has spent years building a reputation as a trustworthy and knowledgeable figure on Pawn Stars. His fans have come to know him as a fatherly figure, someone who not only runs a successful business but also has strong family values. This public image has helped him become a beloved figure in the world of reality television. But now, with his adopted daughter testifying against him, that carefully crafted image is at risk of being shattered. People who once saw him as a dependable and reliable figure are now wondering if there is more to Rick's life than what he has shown. The fact that his daughter, someone who should have been on his side, is testifying against him suggests there may be hidden truths that are slowly coming to light. This adds a layer of intrigue to the story. What is really going on behind closed doors? What has Rick been hiding? The public wants to know the answers, and the more time passes, the more questions arise. For Rick, this legal battle is not just about defending himself in court, it is about defending his character, his life's work, and the public trust that has been placed in him. His career is built on the foundation of trust. People trust him to offer fair deals, to give accurate appraisals, and to maintain a level of honesty in his business dealings. But now, with his adopted daughter testifying against him, all of that is being called into question. If someone as close to him as his adopted daughter is speaking out, then what does it say about Rick's actions and decisions? The emotional weight of having a family member speak out against you in such a formal way is immense. It's not just about the facts of the case, it's about the relationship between Rick and his adopted daughter. What happened between them to cause this rift? What could have gone wrong to make her take such a dramatic and public stand? As more details about the case begin to surface, the curiosity surrounding Rick's personal life grows. The public is interested not only in the legal aspects of the case, but also in the emotional and personal dynamics that led to this point. The fact that someone from Rick's inner circle is testifying against him makes the situation even more complicated. It's one thing for a stranger or someone from outside the family to bring up accusations, but when it's a family member, the stakes are much higher. People will begin to wonder about the nature of their relationship. Was it always tense between Rick and his adopted daughter, or is this a new issue that has suddenly escalated into a legal battle? The emotional side of the case is just as important as the legal one, and the curiosity about what went wrong will drive the story forward. The idea of family loyalty is central to this case. Family members are supposed to support each other, but what happens when that loyalty is broken? For Rick's adopted daughter to testify against him, there must be a significant issue at the heart of their relationship. It's natural for people to wonder what that issue might be. Was it something that happened in the past, or is it a more recent development? Did Rick do something that hurt his adopted daughter deeply, or has there been a long-standing issue between them that finally boiled over? The lack of clarity about the reasons behind her testimony adds to the suspense. It's not just a legal matter anymore, it's a personal one, and people want to know the truth. As the case progresses, the curiosity surrounding the reasons for the testimony will continue to build. People will be looking for clues, searching for signs of what went wrong in Rick's relationship with his adopted daughter. Was there a moment when things started to change? Did something happen that pushed her to make the decision to testify against him? The public wants to know what led to this moment, and as the trial goes on, new details are sure to come to light. Each new piece of information will add another layer to the story and bring the truth closer to the surface. It's a story that is full of suspense, and people will be eagerly following along to see how it unfolds. For Rick, the consequences of this legal battle could be far-reaching. It's not just about the immediate legal issues, it's about the long-term impact on his reputation and his career. As a public figure, Rick's every move is scrutinized, and this situation will only add to the public's interest in his life. If his adopted daughter's testimony proves to be damaging, it could change the way people see him forever. His career, built on the foundation of trust and respect, could be jeopardized. The curiosity surrounding the outcome of the case is palpable. Will Rick be able to defend himself, or will the testimony from his adopted daughter prove to be too much? The stakes are incredibly high, and the tension is only growing as the case moves forward. The legal battle between Rick Harrison and his adopted daughter is more than just a courtroom drama. It is a story about trust, loyalty, betrayal, and the complicated relationships that exist within families. As the case continues, the public will be watching closely, eager to know the answers to the questions that have been raised. The testimony against Rick is just the beginning, and as more details come to light, the intrigue surrounding the case will only increase. The outcome of this case could change Rick's life forever, and it's something that people will continue to follow with bated breath, eager to learn what happens next. Rick Harrison, the star of Pawn Stars, has built a career based on his public image. For years, he has been portrayed as a knowledgeable, trustworthy, and approachable businessman. He's the face of the world-famous gold and silver pawn shop, a place where customers come to strike deals with someone they can trust. On TV, Rick has always appeared calm, collected, and able to handle the ups and downs of running a pawn shop with ease. His image as a father figure, especially in the way he interacts with his sons and other members of the cast, has contributed to his popularity and earned him respect from a wide audience. But now, with his adopted daughter testifying against him in court, everything that Rick has worked so hard to build is being called into question. The public's trust in him, which has been so central to his success, is at risk of crumbling. The idea of someone you trust being accused of wrongdoing is always a difficult one to process. It challenges everything you thought you knew about them. For Rick's fans and followers, learning that his adopted daughter is testifying against him is a hard pill to swallow. People want to believe that the public figures they admire are as trustworthy and honest as they seem on TV. But this legal battle casts doubt on everything Rick has represented to the public for so long. The curiosity around Rick's public image now intensifies. How did he go from being the reliable father figure everyone admired to someone whose own adopted daughter is speaking out against him? The more details that emerge, the more people will want to understand the root of this change. What happened behind the scenes to cause such a dramatic shift in their relationship? The fact that a family member has decided to take this step only deepens the mystery. It's no longer just about what is happening in the courtroom, it's about the unraveling of Rick's public persona. As the legal case continues, the public's perception of Rick will be shaped by the testimony of his adopted daughter. People will wonder what she has to say and whether it will reveal something that tarnishes Rick's image beyond repair. The public's opinion of someone can change in an instant, especially when there are allegations of wrongdoing. If Rick's adopted daughter provides compelling testimony, it could damage his career and reputation permanently. The curiosity surrounding this potential shift in his image is palpable. Will Rick be able to defend himself and restore his image, or will the accusations prove too much for him to overcome? The tension around this question grows with every day of the legal proceedings. People are not just curious about the outcome of the case, they are curious about how it will change the way they see Rick Harrison, the TV personality and businessman they have come to know. For Rick, his public image has been crucial to his success. His role on Pawn Stars has not only made him a household name but also established him as a respected figure in the world of business. His reputation for fairness and expertise has been a key selling point for the show, and for many people it has been the reason they tune in. But now, with his adopted daughter testifying against him, all of that is at risk. If the public believes the accusations against him, it could change the way they view his entire career. The trust that has taken years to build could evaporate in a moment, leaving Rick struggling to rebuild his image. And that's where the curiosity lies. Will Rick be able to repair the damage to his reputation, or will the legal battle leave permanent scars on his public persona? As more information is released, people will be watching closely to see how this case unfolds and what it means for Rick's future in the public eye. The stakes are high for Rick because his public image is not just tied to his TV show but to his entire business empire. People trust Rick, and that trust has been instrumental in making his pawn shop a successful business. If that trust is broken, it could lead to a significant loss of customers and fans. The curiosity about what will happen next isn't just about the legal case, it's about whether Rick's business will survive the fallout. Will the negative attention affect the world-famous gold and silver pawn shop? Will Rick lose the loyalty of his fans and customers who have supported him for years? These are the questions that are on people's minds as they follow the case. And the more time passes without clear answers, the more the public will be left wondering whether Rick will be able to salvage his reputation or whether this legal battle will mark the end of his career. In the world of reality TV and public figurage is everything. People often follow celebrities, business people, and TV stars because they feel they can trust them. Rick Harrison's success has been built on that trust, and now that trust is being tested. The testimony of his adopted daughter is a pivotal moment in the story. It could either validate the public's faith in him or destroy the image he has spent so many years cultivating. If the public believes the accusations against him, Rick's image as the reliable, knowledgeable businessman could be replaced by one of scandal and betrayal. This shift in perception will not only affect his career, but could also change the way people think about him personally. If the case goes against Rick, it could redefine the way he is remembered in the public eye. At the heart of the situation is the question of whether Rick can maintain the public trust he has worked so hard to build. If the testimony from his adopted daughter proves to be true and compelling, it could have serious consequences for Rick's career. Fans and customers might begin to see him in a different light, and that could lead to a loss of business and credibility. The curiosity around how this case will affect his future is something that keeps people on edge. Will Rick be able to rise above the accusations and restore his image, or will the damage be too great? The public's view of him will depend on the outcome of the legal battle, and that uncertainty makes people eager to know what will happen next. Rick Harrison's public image has always been one of integrity, fairness, and trustworthiness. But now, as his adopted daughter testifies against him, that image is in jeopardy. The curiosity surrounding this shift in perception is huge. People want to know whether Rick can defend himself against the accusations and whether his image can survive the legal battle. As the case unfolds, the tension grows, and people are left wondering if this will be the end of Rick's career as they know it. The outcome of this case will not only determine Rick's future but will also shape the way he is remembered by the public. Will his public image survive, or will the testimony against him mark the beginning of the end? At the heart of any story that involves legal battles and public scandals, the most emotional and complex aspect is often the family dynamics. In the case of Rick Harrison, a well-known figure thanks to Pawn Stars, this issue becomes even more complicated. His adopted daughter's decision to testify against him is not just a legal issue, it's a deeply personal one. Family is supposed to be a source of support, love, and loyalty. But when someone within that family decides to speak out against another, it creates a ripple effect that can shake everyone involved. People who have been watching Rick on TV for years now find themselves questioning not just the person they thought they knew but the entire family structure that supported him. What led to this moment? Why is his adopted daughter taking such a drastic step? The curiosity surrounding the reasons behind her decision is immense. When a family member testifies against another, it brings into question the strength and foundation of the relationship. Rick Harrison's relationship with his adopted daughter is no exception. The fact that they are now on opposite sides of a legal battle tells us that there is more going on behind the scenes than the public may know. It's easy for people to assume that a father and daughter share a strong bond, especially when they are on TV together, and the image of a loving family is often part of the story. But now that image is being questioned. Why would an adopted daughter feel the need to take such a serious and public action? What could have happened between them that led to this split? The public is naturally curious about what caused such a rift. What happened behind the closed doors of their family life that no one knew about? This sense of curiosity only grows as the case moves forward and more information starts to trickle out. Family dynamics are rarely as simple as they appear. On the surface, everything may seem fine, but there are often layers of complexity that only those involved truly understand. Rick's adopted daughter might have had reasons for taking the stand that are deeply personal and may not be immediately clear to the public. What we see in the courtroom and hear in the media is just a small part of the story. The real reasons for the rift could be much deeper, and the legal case is simply bringing those hidden tensions to the surface. The public wants to understand what these hidden reasons are, but until the full details are revealed, curiosity will continue to drive interest in the case. How much of their relationship was based on real love and trust, and how much of it was a carefully constructed image for the public? These are the kinds of questions people are asking, and they can't wait to get answers. When a family member decides to take legal action against someone they are close to, it's often a sign that something has gone terribly wrong. There are many potential reasons why a person might feel the need to testify against a parent or sibling. It could be a result of long-standing resentment, a specific event that caused harm, or even a difference in values that caused a rift. For Rick and his adopted daughter, it is clear that something significant happened to cause this break. Whether it's something personal or something related to their public lives, the fact that she is testifying against him shows that whatever went wrong, it couldn't be resolved privately. This decision to go public with their issues means that their relationship has deteriorated in ways that are difficult for anyone to fully understand. But the more people try to make sense of the situation, the more the curiosity builds. What exactly went wrong between them? What was the final straw that led to this point? These questions keep people hooked on the story, eager to learn the details as they unfold. The emotional weight of this legal battle is not lost on anyone. Families are not just made up of people who share blood or legal ties, they are made up of emotions, shared experiences, and connections that go beyond what is seen on the surface. For Rick, the pain of having his adopted daughter take this step cannot be easy. A parent's greatest fear is often the idea that their children will not turn out as they hoped, or that they will have a fallout that is impossible to mend. The fact that Rick's adopted daughter is testifying against him adds a layer of emotional complexity to the case. It's not just about legal arguments and evidence, it's about the personal bond that has been broken. How much of their relationship is beyond repair? Can Rick ever regain the trust of his adopted daughter, or has this legal action created an irreversible divide? These are the emotional questions that add depth to the case, making it not just a legal battle but a personal tragedy. As the case continues, the curiosity surrounding the family dynamics only grows. People will want to know more about the nature of Rick and his adopted daughter's relationship. How close were they before this happened? Did they have a strong bond, or was it always strained beneath the surface? The details of their personal interactions and the events leading up to the legal case will be closely watched. People are eager to understand how this relationship could have reached such a breaking point. Was there a single incident that caused the rift, or was it a combination of many small issues that eventually led to this legal action? The answers to these questions could paint a picture of a family that was far more complicated than anyone could have imagined. Families are supposed to be a place of safety and security. But when they become the source of conflict, it shakes everything to its core. Rick Harrison's case is an example of how family dynamics can become tangled and messy, especially when personal feelings and public personas collide. Rick has spent years cultivating an image of being a solid, dependable father figure both on TV and in his business. But now, with his adopted daughter speaking out against him, that image is being tested. The public is wondering what happened to the father-daughter bond that they thought they knew. What was it really like behind closed doors? The fact that Rick's adopted daughter is willing to testify against him suggests that the reality of their relationship was much different from the public perception. As the case continues, more details about the family dynamics will come to light. People are naturally curious about what happened to cause this split. Was there a specific event or a series of events that led to the breakdown of their relationship? Or was the rift between them a long time coming, hidden beneath the surface for years? The answers to these questions will likely shape the public's view of both Rick and his adopted daughter. People are invested in understanding how family relationships can go wrong, and they are waiting to see if Rick can repair the damage or if the rift between him and his adopted daughter will be permanent. The curiosity surrounding their relationship will continue to drive interest in the case, and as more information comes to light, the story will become even more complex. The questions surrounding their family dynamics may never be fully answered, but the public's curiosity will remain high as long as the case continues.